the very least. But again, this has been going on for a little more than an hour, roughly 20 passengers, maybe a couple more, and they are not moving for now, guys. So those two just showed up about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and they immediately went to work trying to analyze the actual mechanics of the ride itself. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of communication going on or any kind of a rescue effort whatsoever. Now, there is a battalion chief who has arrived on scene, I believe, from the Orange County Fire Authority, just to monitor the situation and make sure that additional aid is not needed. But as you can see, it is mostly park employees and park management who are handling this incident internally. And certainly, I would imagine there have been communications with those guests, if not by those two up there in the cherry picker, at least by folks down on the ground there. So it does appear that everybody's taking this in light. You can see nobody really panicking per se, but you can only imagine what it's like. Easy for me to say, right? You can only imagine what it's like to be on this ride. Once again, we're in the Fiesta Village section of the park, where there are other attractions in the vicinity, other roller coasters that have come to a complete stop. This has definitely become the center of attention here at the farm this afternoon. Yeah, everybody's pretty much horizontal to varying degrees, if you will. That ride spins around in a 360 motion and then actually physically revolves around the center. So it's a palpitating ride when it is moving, but in this situation, it does appear that everybody's maybe not in the most comfortable position, but I would argue much better than being upside down with blood rushing to your head and having to worry about other kinds of health issues. Obviously, and hopefully, if you got on this ride, you were okay with heights and presumably in fairly good health. Yeah, and you see, I mean, there's a situation right there. Look at that person in the white t-shirt. You know, all of these folks are harnessed in, but it looks like, you know, some of them might be getting a little bit agitated and trying to shimmy out of that harness, which is probably the worst thing you could possibly do. You know, you'd want to keep your shoulders and laps secure by those harnesses that come down overhead. So, you know, as these people start to grow anxious, you might see some maybe some odd behavior, if you will. But hopefully, you know, a lot of kids on this ride, obviously, so hopefully they can get this thing moving as soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, look, they're taking it in stride, but I just don't like seeing some of those arms coming from under the harness. It's kind of, it's really nerve-wracking to see that, especially like you said, if they're trying to reach for their cell phones to try and either communicate or maybe document this with their phone cameras. But it's exactly what they don't want to see down there. It is a little surprising to me that there's not more emergency apparatus at least standing by in place, just in case, as a precaution. You would imagine that that might be a good idea. At one point, the fire department was on the way over here, and Knott's Berry Farm politely declined any assistance. As I mentioned, there is a battalion chief on the scene down there just monitoring the situation, but they must feel fairly confident that they can get this ride moving without any, without any major incident. It's the unexpected that I start to worry about as time goes on and the hours start to grow. Again, we're already in hour number 2 of this incident, and as time goes on here and the sun starts to go down, you can imagine that this might become slightly more scary.